Central fills coins by honesty and integrity.
From the KQAM News Desk, I'm Trace Tall. Good afternoon. Thanksgiving may be over, but a Cheney man has his eyes set on Christmas. Marty Chance created a quarter-mile-long display that sits in his front yard. Chance builds torque converters in a shop in Cheney known as Neil Chance Racing Converters. However, in 2019, around the end of the year, he was told by doctors that he had a stroke and would need to step away from racing due to health and safety concerns. So, what did he do?
The doctors told me I'm extremely fortunate that I'm going to have a 100% recovery with one exception. I can never have a pilot's license, and I can't drive my race cars anymore. I think I'd like to get some Christmas decorations this year.
That audio courtesy of our news partners at Cake TV. The light display is free to access, but Chance says last year's turnout went so well, he's collecting canned goods for Union Rescue Mission and Cheney Emergency Fund. You can visit weekdays from sundown until 10 p.m. and weekends from sundown until midnight. It's located at Southeast 20th Street in Cheney. And now here's sports.
The NFL continues to bring us weird results. Today's Thanksgiving, where all three road teams won. The Chiefs are probably pretty thankful that they don't have to play this weekend and avoid a weird loss. They are one of two teams on their byes this week. As for college football, Friday after Thanksgiving, always a busy day. Plenty of games going on today. And then tomorrow, big ones between Ohio State and Michigan to decide playoff positioning, and Oklahoma State and Oklahoma later that night. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Mason Voth.
Sometimes watching a flawless serve can make you realize,
wait a minute, I think I might love tennis.
So you get 2% cash back on rackets, 2% cash back on shoes, 2% cash back on gear, tennis balls, lessons. And before you know it, you've got a decent backhand.
I do have a decent backhand.
Get unlimited 2% cash back on purchases and be ready for your next passion with the new Wells Fargo Active Cash Visa Card. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., all rights reserved.
Oh, Christmas tree, it's getting cold and chilly. Oh, Christmas tree, it's time to go see Willie. He has trees both short and tall, so come on out and see them all. Oh, Christmas tree, it's time to go see Willie.
Experience a family tradition of choosing and cutting a Christmas tree direct from the farm. 4C Christmas Tree Farm has a large selection of live Scotch and Austrian pine trees, fresh green wreath ribbons, and bows. 4C Christmas Tree Farm is located at 11501 East Creed Street, just 5/8 of a mile south of Pawnee on Greenwich Road and 1/4 of a mile east on Creed. They're open the Friday after Thanksgiving and all Saturdays 9 till dark and Sundays noon till dark, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays 2 till dark, or give Willie a call at 684-0464. Experience the tradition. 4C Christmas Tree Farm.
Oh, Christmas tree, it's time to go see Willie.
Market information from the Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Andy Hooser, wrapping up today on a Friday, kind of a shortened day in trading, but still some changes in the cash grain reports for the states of Kansas and Oklahoma, and kind of a mixed day today as we saw some of the grains up, some of the grains down, wrapping up the week this week. Starting off with your co-op in Goodland, Kansas, we saw ending prices of wheat sitting at $8.20. Corn at $6.06, $5.96 in the Milo, and $11.77 in the soybeans. In Belleville, Kansas, wheat today was at $8.40, corn at $5.71, $5.96 in the Milo, and $11.89 in the beans. In Beloit, Kansas, we saw $8.40 for the wheat, $5.81 in the corn, $5.96 in the Milo, and $11.89 in the soybeans. Over in Concordia, Kansas, wheat today was at $8.50, $5.81 in the corn, $6.06 in the Milo, and $11.75 in the beans. In Sumner County Terminal, we saw $8.55 for the price of wheat today, $5.81 in the corn, $6.11 in the Milo, and $12.04 in the soybeans. Over in Fredonia, Kansas, $8.24 for the price of wheat today, $5.59 in the corn, $5.78 in the Milo, and $12.12 in the soybeans. In the western part of the state of Garden City, Kansas, we saw $8.53 for the wheat today, $6.17 in the corn, $5.97 in the Milo, and $11.74 in the soybeans. Looking down in Oklahoma, starting off with Enid, Oklahoma, we saw wheat today, $8.60, $5.76 in the corn, $6.06 in the Milo, and $12.04 in the beans. And the Panhandle of Hooker, Oklahoma, $8.70 for the price of wheat today, corn at $6.36, Milo $6 and a penny, and $11.63 in the soybeans. So pulling out that calculator, looking at averages, we saw wheat today down 5 cents from Wednesday, sitting at $8.45. The corn was at $5.89, up 5 pennies. $5.98 was the average for the Milo, up 8 cents, and soybeans back down below that $12 mark, $11.87, down 15 cents from what we saw on Wednesday. Market information, Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM, brought to you by Jewelry Savers. Conveniently located off K96 on Greenwich Road. The Kansas trusted jewelry source since 1971. Jewelry Savers.
Tons of sunshine on the way for this Friday in Wichita. That'll warm temperatures up into the middle 60s this afternoon. South-southwest wind at about 6 to 12. Overnight tonight, we keep that south breeze. Temperatures only drop to 34. For the weekend, lots of sunshine. Highs in the mid-60s Saturday, upper 50s Sunday. With your forecast, I'm Cake meteorologist Frank Waugh.
That's your latest Cake First Alert weather update on the Big Talker, KQAM.
At 4:06, it's currently 61 degrees.
Fighting for freedom every day.
They are absolutely desperate to pretend the last 4 years never happened and for them to go back to what they liked to do before, which is create these massive spending bills to pretend that it's really, really important to you when you only get about 5% of what's in the bill, and they can't do it because we're aware of it. We're paying attention to it, and they don't like that.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You are darn right it is the Voice of Reason. Hey, happy post-Thanksgiving to you. Now, I know most of you are probably already still in Thanksgiving mode. This is shopping day. This is Black Friday. This is the let's try and continue on the holiday celebration and the R&R a little bit throughout the weekend. So, hey, don't worry. We got you covered right here on the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station all over the country, radio, TV, live streaming, and podcasting. Your millennial general reporting for duty like we do every single day. Fun show lined up for you today. Bottom of the hour, we have Joe PALMISANO. He is the author of the kids' book, Penguinville. As we talk about trying to reach the youth of America, yeah, it is kind of important. And we've had actually a lot of childhood authors on the show lately. So we'll have Joe coming on the program at the bottom of this broadcast. Really looking forward to that one. We have, it never seems to be enough. Never seems to be. They always have to bring in new things. The control, the tyranny, the wild fear tactics, the politics of fear still continues to run rampant. A new variant of COVID-19. Are you ready for round number 5? Or whatever hell round this is. Are you ready? Because it's coming. It's coming. Yeah. We'll get to that here in just a second as well. I don't want to bring too much anger or frustration into this conversation today, but at the same time, we need to talk about it because it's blowing up the news. I don't know if you saw the headlines or not. The stock market today completely pummeled. The Dow Jones wrapped up down like 900 points at the end of the day today. So that's a big, hurtful day for the stock market for Joe Biden. They thought that COVID would be done and over by now, and it's not. And of course, the only thing they can do is blame the quote-unquote unvaccinated individuals. So I want to get to that in a second. I don't want to start off with the show with that, though, because why start with the frustrating, angry parts of the story? Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I am still recovering from the tryptophan hangover with eating all the turkey. It was amazing because we had 2 turkeys for the Hooser family this year, and we had a bunch of friends over and family over. So we had a big party, I guess, if you want to call it that, a big party. We had a smoked turkey, which was absolutely muy bueno. And then we also had the Mrs. Voice of Reason's oven roasted turkey, where she soaks it for about 2 days in the wine brine. She puts the garlic cloves all over it. She puts some different seasonings and different herbs and stuff in there, and then she puts the red wine in it and soaks it like that for like 2 days. And I tell you what, it just falls apart. I have to admit, as good as it was on Thanksgiving yesterday, which I had a lot of it, I realize that I am more excited, I think, going home tonight and having the Thanksgiving turkey sandwich. Got to be honest. That's my favorite part of the whole time. That and turkey enchiladas probably this weekend from Mrs. Voice of Reason as well. So I am terrible at doing the vegan thing. I am so looking forward to this, and I'm going to gorge myself for the next weekend. So Monday I may come in just a little bit heavier, but by golly, we're going to be fat and happy, and that's just the way I think you're supposed to be during the Thanksgiving holiday, going into Christmas as well. So the next big question is for everybody out there doing their Black Friday shopping, be careful out there. There are madness out there. I'm watching videos, and I haven't seen these actually in a few years, but they're back. The crazy shoppers, The panic shoppers, the ones that I have to get this deal and I will beat anybody up who may potentially challenge that or take the thing on the shelf that I want, they're back. I have yet to see these for a few years, and I've been watching because I find them quite entertaining. I think it's ridiculous that you go from the day of thankfulness and being thankful to things to going into the next day of, I'm going to beat you up in the Walmart because I want to get that TV more so than you do. Again, I find it very entertaining, but this year they're back. I've seen multiple videos this year already today, throughout the day today, people that were like going MMA style wrestling on the floor with someone like having like a headlock in between their legs and like wrapping around, and they were going at it. And these are like 40, 50-year-old women. Again, extremely entertaining on my part. I don't do Black Friday shopping. I used to have some fun with it, used to watch it, but I don't now, and I don't enjoy that. I just want nothing to do with it. I don't know if it happened near my town where I'm at in Wichita area. Probably not, but some of the bigger cities, I just find that quite entertaining. So that's my entertainment value of the day, is hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and you can watch all the crazies out there trying to do their insane shopping. We called it, though, going into Thanksgiving, that we knew the identity politics thing was going to be played in some way, shape, or form, because that is the flavor of the Democrats right now and the progressives. It's all about identity politics. It's about, a certain race or a certain religion or a certain identity of gender or sexual orientation. It's what they like to focus on. That is their focus, and they think that is going to solve the world's problems when you start solving those issues. Now, are there some issues in society to fix? Obviously. Is there systematic racism? No, there's not. The system itself is not set up with the intention to keep individuals down. It's set up to have equal opportunity, not equal outcome. And are there some flaws in the system? Sure there are. Do we have to hold people accountable? Sure we do. That's just the way the world is. Guess what? If you wanted equality across the board and wanted everything to be fair and everything to be equal, then you picked the wrong species to be born into. I mean, because that's not the way the world works. We have equal opportunity. It's what you do with that opportunity. But we're going on day number 5 or 6 now of looting going on in San Francisco and Los Angeles. They've obviously lowered the penalties on that. We talked about it a couple days ago. So you have people just looting, stealing, do whatever they want to. Their own Black Friday shopping. Get it now while it's still on the shelf before somebody else steals it. But on Thanksgiving yesterday, while we're being thankful, and I don't mean to say this to try and be derogatory or to attack anybody. It's just sad that you have to live your life in such anger and hatred your entire life. I mean, honestly, you would think that at least one day a year, maybe we could say, maybe we're thankful. I'm going to think about the positive things in my life. I'm going to think about the things that I'm thankful for. I'm going to think about the things that make me happy or that make my family happy or things that I'm grateful for with my family. But instead, they have to go on the attack, and they're always angry. I've said this before. I don't know how you wake up in the morning just to be bitter and angry. You go through the day just wanting to be bitter and angry, looking for things to trigger you and make you feel extremely uncomfortable. But yet there are some people in the world, unfortunately, where that is their mindset. That is who they are day in and day out. The Black Lives Matter organization sent out a tweet yesterday where this was their Thanksgiving message, not, hey, we're working to bring equality into the nation, or, hey, we're working to make Black Lives Matter in the world, or whatever the message could be, in a, still divisive yet positive light. We're doing things. We're making it better. They didn't do that. What they did do, according to Fox News, here's the tweet that they sent out. You are eating dry turkey and overcooked stuffing on stolen land. And then they had a little picture. You are on stolen land. Colonization never ended. It just became normalized. Find out which ancestral homeland you currently occupy here. And they had a link. And you can go to the link, which we did because I had to see this for myself. So if you go to native-land.ca, native-land.ca, it takes you to a map, kind of like a interactive, like a Google map sort of thing. And it's Native Land Digital, and it's literally a map of all of the Native American tribes all over the nation. And you can zoom into your area to see which ones are used to inhabit this area. And it's fascinating. But of course, that's the message. You knew it was going to come. You knew someone was going to send out this message of, you're on stolen land, you've oppressed the Native Americans, it's terrible, we should be shamed as a country. Not, we've made mistakes, we're growing, we're making ourselves better because we've learned from our mistakes. I don't know why they said that colonization never ended. It just became normalized because we don't colonize any longer. Except for them, where they think that this land is still truly the land of Native Americans, which obviously they need to pick up a history book and realize this has happened all throughout history in multiple different societies. The one that is more technologically superior or has the larger army is the one that overtakes other people's lands. It just happens. Don't try to play the Native Americans as victims, because the Native Americans were doing it to themselves amongst different tribes as well. And then we came along, or white, quote unquote, white people came along, more specifically the Spanish came along, and they said, hey, you know what, we really want to expand westward. But we got to remember the purpose of Thanksgiving before we even go down that road of negativity, don't we? I mean, let's put things into perspective here for a second. Yes, we did those terrible things. We did manifest destiny. We drove out west. We drove Native Americans off their land. We put them into different areas. Terrible, horrible ordeal. The Trail of Tears was one of the most devastating things that America could have possibly done. But it happened. Let's go before all of that. When the Pilgrim first settled in the country, and we were trying to figure out how to survive, and they had a nice little commune, and they had their, Jamestown and these other towns that were some of the first where the settlers came into, and we were dying, and we were suffering, and we were dying of illness, and we were starving to death because they tried to do it as a commune. Once they realized that we had private property rights and we let people expand and kind of survive on their own, things began to flourish. What a concept again, right? So, Democrats, progressives, you might want to remember that concept going into your policies later on in the day. But we expanded. But while we were suffering, we ran into the Native Americans. Now, we were not vicious to them right off the bat. Obviously, we were a little intimidated. We were broken. We were weak. We were trying to survive. And there were a lot more of them than there were of us. When we first came here, the Native Americans helped us. And we grew corn. And they taught us how to grow corn. And then we had a massive feast that was Thanksgiving. That's what we tried to celebrate on November 25th of every single year. Or the third Thursday of the year, whatever you want to call it. However that falls on the calendar each year. That's our celebration. Now we can talk about the negatives thereafter, but good golly, one day a year. Could we at least have something positive without anyone throwing a fit? Could we at least have one holiday in the year where we don't have someone trying to downplay it or dismiss it or attack it, or call it a name, or try to whatever, just belittle it? Like, can't we all, again, this seems like the hippy-dippy stuff, can we all just get along? Can we just love each other just for one day? Thanksgiving, you would think, would be that holiday, because it's not an ultra-religious holiday, so where it's not, this religious group against that religious group, and we go at each other and bash heads. It's not, well, you're trampling upon my rights to not celebrate it, so why does the courthouse have the 10 Commandments on? It's all this other garbage. That's not what that holiday is about. For one holiday, could we just at least have one that you think would be like Thanksgiving to say, hey, let's celebrate and all come together and say, we're a human race, let's just go along with this. But instead, the dividers, that's what they do. They like to divide. And they never seem to get tired of it. You would think after a while you get bored. The problem is, though, is that we have people respond to it instead of just ignoring them. When you ignore a bully, then they seem to get tired and wore out because they get bored. They don't get a response. But instead, we have people that do respond to them. And then, according to Fox News, there's a whole bunch of individuals that tried to respond and retweet it and give their own nice little, zing back to them. Again, I just don't care. If I would have seen that, I would have said in my mind, wow, you're an idiot, and then scroll on past it. Period, end of story. Because why give them the fuel to continue on thinking that they're actually relevant? Black Lives Matter as an idea is a wonderful concept. Black Lives Matter as a movement, as an organization, is a terrible, horrible, radical, terrorist organization in this nation that we need to be not fearful of, but we need to be aware of. But when you don't give them any type of credibility or don't give them any type of attention, they're going to fade away, because it's like the radicals screaming in the background when you just ignore them. And that's what we have to do. But instead, you fuel the fire for them. But we're on stolen land. So, to hell with trying to bring unity and just being thankful for what you have. Use it however you want to in a holiday of Thanksgiving, being thankful for something. But yet, they just can't do it. Very bitter, very angry people. Just don't understand that. Lots more coming up on The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out today for a post-Thanksgiving, the continuation of your holiday here on a Friday episode of the Voice of Reason, radio, TV, live streaming, and podcasting. However you like to watch or listen to the show, I want to thank you very much for that. We are killing it with our podcast downloads, like a lot, so thank you very much for that. That means a lot as well. I have some really, really, really big, cool news coming up here very soon. I can't say anything yet, but just know that by like the beginning of the year, we have a lot of big announcements. We have a lot of big stuff coming up, some new imaging, some new branding. We have some new outlets, some new ways to watch and listen to the show. Lots of cool stuff coming up, so stay tuned in for that. I do want to remind you as well, we do have our newsletter coming out here next week. I want to say the end of next week because that's when the new month starts. So if you want to go to HooserReason.com, HOOSER reason.com, subscribe to it. It'll pop up, say, do you want to become a Hoosier-holic? You say yes. You can subscribe completely free. We do not spam you, and you can just get our monthly newsletter that has our blog with the month. It has some content for the Hoosier Media Network, what's going on with the show, what's going on with the network as a whole, all the new shows that we have on there. It's a lot of cool information, holidays of the month, civic holidays, all this kind of stuff. So make sure to stay tuned in, and you can follow that at HoosierReason.com. I have to just one other little thing, my little pet peeve on Thanksgiving, when you're supposed to be like super duper grateful. And I hope you weren't one of those. If not, then I apologize, sorry, not sorry kind of thing. I really, really hope that there are a lot of stores that unfortunately stay open on Thanksgiving Day. Drives me nuts. I went to the store on Wednesday. I got off the radio show. I got done everything, uploaded the podcast. I left, and Mrs. Voice of Reason said, hey, I need you to pick up a couple of things on the way home. I'm baking, and I ran out of stuff. I need some butter. I need some milk or whatever. I go to the grocery store Wednesday night. Jam-packed. I mean, I had to park all the way at the end on like the secondary parking lot. It was insane at the grocery store that night. And I was a little frustrated at first, and I'm like, really, everybody waiting for the last minute? But I'm like, what am I doing here? So I wasn't too upset. But then I realized, too, I'm like, wait a second. This might be a good thing. Because I have to admit, one of my biggest pet peeves in the entire world is people that go to the gas station or grocery store on Thanksgiving Day. Because to me, Thanksgiving Day is when the day everybody should be staying at home and either enjoying with the family and friends or just having the R&R and staying at home on their own as well. It drives me nuts that stores stay open on Thanksgiving Day. So I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? Maybe everybody's doing their last rush because maybe by tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day, no one will show up. And the store will want to close to be able to send those people home to actually enjoy their family as well. So I really hope that no one in my listening range actually went to the store on Thanksgiving Day, because to me at least, that shows, number one, that we were completely unprepared and that we didn't actually strategize to make that happen. Number two, it's again kind of the me mentality of I'm not going to think about anybody else because I'm going to go to the store while we make them stay away from their family and work on a day when they should be home with their family and friends. That's just me. I don't know. Like, some people just be like, no, I ran out of something and it was an emergency. I get that. But at the same time, we can live without it. Let people go home on their family and friends as well. All right, we have, let's see, just about a minute or so before we have to go to the bottom of the hour here. The stock market today absolutely tanked. Right now it's down like 1,100 points. At the close today, it was at 905 points at the closing today, sitting at 34,899 for the Dow Jones. The S&P was down by 106. The NASDAQ was down by 353. Normally, I don't care. It fluctuates. It goes ups and down. The reason I bring it up is because the stock market took a major hit today because of this new Delta, or this new variant of COVID-19. It's not even the Delta variant. It's a new variant. I don't even know if they've named it yet. Have they? Have they named this thing yet? According to Newsmax.com, World Health Organization panel named the variant Omicron and classified as a highly transmissible virus of concern, the same category that includes the Delta variant, the world's most prevalent. Now, they're worried about this because of how contagious it is. Is it deadly? I don't know. We'll talk about that when we come back a little bit. Plus, we'll talk with Joe PALMISANO with his child's book. But there's a lot to get to. Should we be concerned about this new variant of COVID-19? And why are we freaking out as much as we are about this one, with the stock market tanking massively going into the holidays and a big consumer spending weekend?
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hoosier Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hooser Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hooser Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason, and I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you.
and I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right you are. Welcome back into the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, wherever you may be watching or listening. Trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. Not able to get in touch with Joe PALMISANO. He is author of the book Penguinville. Come Find Yourself, a child's book talking about trying to embrace and be proud of who you are. I know, what a wild concept. Instead of playing the victim and saying that, well, I wasn't born the right gender, the right skin color, right this or right that, and always having to be envious of other people, just be proud of who you are. I know it's a crazy concept. We'll try and get a hold of him and try and get him rescheduled on the show. He's probably still in that turkey coma, so not a problem. We do have a lot to get to today, so don't you worry. In the latest in what's trending.
What's trending today?
So as I mentioned, there is a new variant of COVID-19, not to damper the holidays here, but to be aware of this, because this is going to be the new campaign political tactic. They're going to lose their minds. And we'll get to the timing here in just a second, because it all makes sense, doesn't it? It's crazy how they have to throw another one in here. Now, this is a new variant of COVID-19 that originated out of South Africa. I am curious, though, how the weird originations of a new variant of the same virus comes out of the different places in the world after the initial release in Wuhan, China. And yes, we said that the Wuhan lab, China, we're probably going to shut down on social media for that one, but that's where it originated. Now we have all these variants coming out from different parts of the world. It is the B11529 variant, and according to the Daily Mail, says, quote, has a very unusual constellation of mutations that may be more resistant to vaccines. It's likely to be named the new NU variant that might evade the body's immune response and be more transmissible. Now, someone else has already renamed this as the Omicron, O-M-I-C-R-O-N. Omicron or Omicron? They're already naming it that. So I don't know which one's the variant's going to look like, but it's coming out of Africa, and they're saying it's more transmissible. According to the news, if you listen to the news, there are people that are in separate rooms of a building that can transmute it between one to another, which means it's airborne. Now, before we go any further with this, there's a lot of questions that pop up, at least in my mind. Number one, where did this variant come from? We have no idea. The majority of viruses, when they mutate, as we've talked about before, and we've had doctors on talking about this, the majority of variants of a virus usually happen after vaccines come out, because then the virus tries to stay alive and it tries to mutate itself to where it can still stay in existence in the world after a vaccine comes out. So vaccines predominantly cause a lot of mutations of viruses. I'm not saying that's what's causing this one. I'm saying that is a general assumption that happens in viruses overall. At the same time, we're also aware that 80 to 90% of the time, generally speaking, not talking about COVID, not talking about specific viruses, generally, it's common knowledge in the medical world that variants, when they happen, that become more contagious, become less severe. So you get less symptoms, you don't get as sick, but it's able to easily transmute itself. It's kind of, you think about it like either being watered down or a more concentrated form. When it's in a more concentrated form, it doesn't usually get to spread very easily, but it's more deadly. And when it becomes watered down, it's able to spread itself more freely, yet it's less severe. So you got to kind of look at it one way or the other. Again, that's a general concept, a generalization of viruses that happen in the world. So now we have a new variant that is airborne, meaning it's not going to go away, and the immune systems or vaccines are not going to eradicate it because it's in the air. It's just there. It's always going to be there. It's a new variant where they say it is more transmissible to young adults and children. Okay, obviously, because we have an immune system. Most of us in the younger generations have yet to actually get the COVID-19 vaccines, so we could probably get it and probably transmute it because, well, it's in the air, so we're probably going to breathe it in more. Is it more severe or deadly? They don't know. The World Health Organization put the name variant Omicron and classified it as highly transmissible virus of concern, the same category that includes the Delta variant. Now, if it's in the same category as the Delta variant, probably not going to be severely deadly, just more contagious. Medical experts, including the World Health Organization, warned against any overreaction before the variant that originated in southern Africa was better understood. But a jittery world feared the worst nearly 2 years after COVID-19 emerged and triggered a pandemic that's killed more than 5 million people around the world, yada, yada, yada. That number is completely blown out of proportion as well. But let's just go with it for a second. While they say, don't panic, don't worry, what happened already? The day that this news broke, we dropped almost 1,000 points in a single half a day of trading in the stock market because investors are concerned. We already have a labor shortage. We already have a supply shortage. We already have economical issues where businesses are shutting down left and right because they can't hire employees. They can't get people back in their stores. We're debating on whether we're supposed to mandate vaccines or not mandate vaccines. So the stock market's already plummeting. This is the time things are supposed to grow. Today is Black Friday. Monday is Cyber Monday. We have the entire weekend of shopping going on. We have from now until Christmas when the consumer spending, I think, jumps up like 60% compared to the rest of the year. And now we're talking about another lockdowns. There is, let me see if I can bring it up here. The headline on Drudge was hilarious earlier today when I looked at it. Here we go. Here's the headlines just on Drudge Report right now. Super variant puts Southern Africa at risk of global shutdown. That's one. Worst ever mutation spreading rapidly among the youth. That's two. USA to restrict travel from 8 different countries. That's 3. Christmas lockdowns feared. That's 4. Another shot? Exclamation point, question mark. The fear of politics, the fear and the hyperbole and the taking things overboard has hit a new high. Now, why at this time? Joe Biden thought that the variants in the COVID-19 pandemic would be over by now. He was going to come in, save the day. Donald Trump is doing a horrible job. I'm going to waltz in. I'm going to do the right couple things. It's going to go away, eradicate itself, and we'll be all happy hunky-dory. That didn't obviously happen. So now they're panicky. Oh my gosh, we really do have a situation that we need to address here. What do we do about it? Well, in a mindset of a progressive and a left-wing Democrat, the only thing that they can think of is let's micromanage the deal. Let's punish individuals. Let's do the iron grip of the micromanagement and try to control each and every person's lives because the only way we can save it is from us because we know better than you as the elites and as the higher-ups and as the establishments or the deep state or whatever you want to call it. They know better than you, so just blindly go along with them because they're there to take care of you. I still try to say that without smirking and smiling a little bit. They're there to take care of you. Yeah. How's that working out for you? So now we have, how long into the Biden administration now? We have 10 months in, 11 months in. We have months now to where we have this quote-unquote radical group of people who have yet to get COVID-19 vaccines, who have refused to get the vaccines. We have the vaccine mandates coming from the federal government and OSHA on hold by the courts right now to where there's starting to be pushback. There hasn't been pushback for the first year and a half of the pandemic. We've gone along with everything you've wanted, from mask wearing to social distancing to shutting down our businesses and shutting down our livelihoods with our small mom and pop businesses all over the nation. We have done everything that you've wanted. Everything. But yet it's still here. This is day number however many days of the 2-week, to stop the spread, right? It's what we always see all over social media. So now we're starting to rebel and get pushback. No, we're not going to get vaccinated. I want my natural immunity. Wait a second. You said this was going to be like, I mean, the way they still portray this thing is that if you get COVID, you're more than likely going to die, which isn't the case. There's less than a 1% death rate of individuals, especially if you're a semi-healthy human being under the age of 70 years old. More than likely, you're going to survive and be okay. If you don't want to take that risk, then go ahead and get the vaccine while you do everything else that you want to. It's up to you. I have chosen as a 33-year-old not to get the vaccine because I have a relatively healthy lifestyle. I take my vitamins. I don't work out as much as I should, but I want to work out more. But you get exposed to things to build up an immunity, and then we realize through the studies now that natural immunity holds better antibodies than getting the vaccine. So I'm going to take my choice that way, and I'm going to risk it because there's a less than a 1% chance that I'm going to die from this thing. And I'm okay with that. So then the Delta variant came out, and everybody's scared again. Oh, there's a new variant. It's not going to be, it's not going to work. And then we have the vaccine success rates against the Delta variant sitting at like 60%-ish. So the vaccines don't even help with the variant, but yet we got to mandate them. Got to mandate it because you have to get it in order to function in society, even though it's not really stopping it. This one now says that there's not even a vaccine that is working against this new variant. Shocker, because it probably mutated from a vaccine to where it could be a new strain that's immune to a vaccine, because that's the way viruses work. It's a normal thing, but the media is all over it because it's the new scare tactic, and those that are starting to stray away from the mainstream talking of just get the vaccine, wear the mask, still be scared of this thing, still be very worried. We're numb to this stuff now. We're a year and a half in, almost 2 years into this COVID pandemic. We're numb to the talking points. We don't want to hear the fear-based politics anymore. We want to get on with our life. And we're starting to say, no, I don't think we need the vaccine. So we have lawsuits, and we have states putting up their wall and starting their sanctuary states against the federal government and their mandates. Government doesn't like that. Media doesn't like that. It's hurting Democrats going into the midterm elections. I don't know if you've noticed or not, Democrats in the media have a really, really bad habit of using the same arguments and using the same strategy in election time as they do every single time. Look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump's a racist. He's a Nazi. He's a fascist. That was the first time against Hillary Clinton. What happened in the second election? Donald Trump's a racist. He's a Nazi. He's a fascist. They had nothing new to campaign on. Just let's hate on Donald Trump even more so and just step up the game, crank the dial up to 10. We're going into a new midterm election where they're going to get obliterated according to all the polls. Republicans are going to kill it and actually dominate. What are they going to do? Go back to, there's a new strain, be very scared. We need people to vote from home. There's vaccines that aren't working. You're going to have to get a new vaccine that the NIH and everybody else is going to say that's mandated to make sure that you cover all the variants. Once it comes out, be very afraid, lock things down again. We're here to help you. You need to keep us in power so we can do the right things, because Republicans are going to let you die in the street by opening things back up. Funny how it all happens, right?
Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi.
You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before.
Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda.
What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason.
And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet.
It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I'm telling you, I'm thinking more and more and more every single day, not to be putting on the conspiratorial tinfoil hat or anything and be a conspiracy theorist. I'm just observing. I've never in my entire life, even with the E. coli spreads that we have, or with, I know obviously that's a little bit different, but with all these sicknesses, all the viruses that float on out there, with all the flu viruses, do you ever hear in the news headlines of a new variant of the flu is out there this year? I mean, the only time you hear it is when they're making the flu shot and they're like, well, we're guesstimating what the strain of the flu is going to be like this year, so we're going to hope it's this one. Trends are saying it's going to be like this, so we're going to make all of our flu shots to fight this strain of it. And then like 80% of the time, they're like, oh, we messed that one up. Didn't get that one right. So the flu shot's going to help a little bit, but usually not a whole lot. Which is another reason why I don't get the flu shot either. What? I know, triggering for some. Some are probably thinking, how is this guy still alive? But the media running now the new variants. Look, there are new variants of viruses every single day, all the time. It's a biological world that we live in. Again, this may be news to some individuals. This may be like breaking news for some. Hey, headline breaking news. There are new variants of viruses in the world all the time. And I've told you this little stat before. If you stretch out your hands and make a little bubble around you, the length of your arms, there are like near 1 trillion different viruses in that bubble in that moment as we speak right now that you're breathing in and out all the time. Your body has been able to adjust to them. They're part of your DNA. They're part of your immune system. You know it. You're aware of it. Your body can fight it. And they're changing and adapting all the time, or else they would become eradicated and die off. I've never seen a time before when the media has ran a story every single time that there's a new variant.
when it could even be less severe. They're comparing it to the Delta variant. The Delta variant is less severe than the original COVID-19 virus strain. It's more transmissible, but it's less deadly. And we've said that forever. Now they're saying this one's like the same thing, but it doesn't even work with vaccines. Vaccines don't even stop it. Why do you need a vaccine if it's less deadly? Is it going to affect some people? Sure. What do we do to prepare for that? Well, we do what we've been telling you to do and doing what you can do. Take matters into your own hands by, if you choose to get the vaccine, get it. If you choose to do healthy habits, then do it. If you choose to take vitamins, then do it. Whatever you take, just to be healthy, so whatever virus goes out there, you're able to take care of it. But the media is desperate for a distraction right now, in my humble opinion, because there is so much negative, bad news that they cannot cover through the Biden administration. They have to find something else to talk about. And while people are starting to not care about COVID as much anymore by wanting to get back to normal, wanting things to open back up, stopping the vaccine mandates in the courts and in the states, they have to find something. They can't report. Here's what they would report on right now. That there's a labor shortage. Yeah, they tried to report that jobless claims were down back to like the 1960s. Okay, that's cool. At the same time, we still have a labor shortage. We have a wage war. Democrats started it. Democrats started it. I feel like the Simpsons episode. Democrats did it. Remember that? Simpsons did it. What was that? That was South Park. That was a South Park episode. And they were mocking the fact that they were doing a storyline. And they're like, oh, but the Simpsons already did this storyline. So they were mocking it. Simpsons did it. Well, guess what? Democrats did it. Low labor shortage right now. Democrats did it. High inflation right now. Democrats did it. Vaccine mandates that are ruining the economy. Democrats did it. I mean, they're in power. They're in charge. They're in control. They're freaking out about what to happen. They lost the Rittenhouse case to go after the Second Amendment. They can't justify high inflation rates right now. They can't justify the supply shortage that we have and the supply chain issues that we have right now because it's linked to the high unemployment rates, the low amount of labor in the retail stores and in the distribution and in the truck driving and every other industry right now that's related directly to them. We have people leaving left and right because of COVID-19 vaccine mandates. We have an extremely low popularity rate for Joe Biden and for Kamala Harris right now, which puts them in a sticky situation because they love to throw out, well, Kamala will just fill in whenever Joe's gone, whenever he can't do the duties of the president anymore. But they can't report it because no one likes her. So what do? You bring out a new strain. You bring out the fear tactics. You say there's a new variant. Don't give any details about the variant. Just say there's a new variant. Get everybody worked up in arms again. Raise the amount of vaccines going on around the country, even though the vaccine doesn't do anything to the new variant. Get people to get vaccinated. You talk about a shutdown of Christmas because it's really, really scary because of a new variant. And then you give the power back to them and just blindly follow them and let them control it. You distract from talking about all the negative garbage because you want them to be they want you to be looking towards them for the answers. And it's not going to work this time. It's the same old trick we've been seeing for the last 2 years. We're tired of it. Stop doing the same damn thing over and over and over and expecting something different. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Stop trying to do stupid and thinking this time it's going to work. Because it's not. On that note, I want you to have a rest of a great Thanksgiving weekend. Back at it on Monday with the Voice of Reason podcast up in just a little bit. Until then, I am the Voice of Reason. This is the Voice of Reason. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on the radio.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of the Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some